Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela. So, I wanted to do a video today, but I couldn't figure out what video I wanted to do. And I'm like, I don't have no tarot tags I want to do or anything. There's like 3 tarot tags that's been out in the last, I'd say 6 months. That was things I thought of like 2 years ago and have been kind of like slowly working on them. And now, if I put out a tag with that same tag, I'm going to look like I'm copying. So, I'm like, there's one that went out recently. I've been working on the questions for it for over a year. And then, I lost my sheet of paper with all the questions on it. And then somebody immediately came out with that same tag that I wanted to do recently. And I'm like, well, my questions are all different. So it just proves to myself to not be lagging, don't be lagging when I come up with a hashtag or a tag. But this is one I've been wanting to do for a while. And it's not, you can do your own tag to it too if you want. I'm not going to make it a tag, but this is all of my, Inside Edition decks. I know I'm probably one of the few that likes Inside Edition, decks. Because 1, they are partial pip decks. 2, the, suits are renamed. And I think it's funny because here lately I've been seeing people that would pick 1 or 2 decks, Inside Edition decks that they would buy because nostalgia purposes or whatever, and then they were like, oh my god, I love this deck so much because it's a partial pip, or the suits are renamed, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, all of their decks are like that. So, I don't understand how people are only liking 1 or 2 of the decks. Yes, I get that not everybody likes pip decks, but to me, these decks are, and there are a couple of exceptions, which I will show here in a minute, because I have 9 Inside Edition decks. I thought I had 10 with my last one I just purchased recently, but it turns out that was number 9. And I'm like, okay. But there's like 3 more coming down the line in the next few months that I want to get. The Buffy the Vampire Slayer Tarot just came out. That's an Inside Edition deck. I do not have any interest in buying that. I don't know why. I was really never a fan of Buffy. I was grown and having children of my own when that came out, really. And so I kind of missed the boat on that. So, I'm not as crazy about that as I am, say, if there was an Angel deck that came out or a Charmed, deck that came out. That would be cool. I just was never really into Buffy. Sorry. I know some people are going to be throwing things at the TV right now, but, it is pretty. And I might later on down the road get it. But from what I've heard, the book is not right either. So, but I never really pay attention to the books anyway. I'm more of an intuitive reader anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I may get it. It is like a pretty pink and purple color, which I may get. But I have rambled on for a while. But there are like 3 more coming down the pike that I'm like, ooh, those are interesting. So I might be getting more later on down the road. But for now, I have 9 Inside Edition decks. The first one I purchased was the Supernatural Tarot. And there's the logo, Inside Edition. This is the Supernatural Join the Hunt Tarot Deck and Guidebook. It is from the TV show Supernatural. If you do not know what that is, this is a Minerva Siegel deck. Art by Matthew Skiff. Got a cool book. All of the cardstock on all of the Inside Edition decks are exactly the same. That I have. They're this like silky matte. I love it. They shuffle, which I just showed you amazingly well. And it's cool. I love the idea of this deck. And when I got this deck, I said, oh, you know what? Everybody's right. These decks are crap. Because as much as I love Supernatural, and it is a partial pip deck, there's actually more pip than partial in this. For the parts that are not partial, I thought they could have done better. So there's kind of a disconnect there for me. Or I could have chose different things, or different people, or different images for that deck, or that card specifically. I love that they're the fulls, and I love that they are in the world card as well. Let's see if I can find it. Right there, the world. That's my favorite world card, because you see them heading into whatever, and I love it. So I do love this deck. I don't hardly use it because some of the images are not to my cup of tea. Which I find later, the more decks I bought, the more I know the genre, or the genre that they're in, the less I connect with the deck for some reason. And this was the first one I bought, and I'm like, oh no, maybe everybody's right. Inside Editions is crap. I will never get rid of this deck just because the show is over. I love the show. I've seen every episode a million times. This, to me now, is like my nostalgia parting gift from the TV show deck. That's the way I look at it. They did an incredible job on the art, though. The next deck I got, because I'm like, I literally got this because of the backs. It is the Nightmare Before Christmas Tarot Deck and Guidebook. And at this point, everything is purple. It's so beautiful. And look at this backs. Like, come on. Same exact cardstock. This is the deck I just showed you. Same exact shuffle. Beautiful. Also a partial pip deck. This is more middle of the road, partial pip. And before I got this deck, I had never seen this movie, ever. Again, when this movie came out, I was grown, had kids of my own. Like, I didn't have time to watch movies. I had little babies. I fell instantly in love with this deck. It was a great reader, fantastic reader. And the pips didn't bother me because the ones that are pips, like this will be a pip card here, like the 10 of 9 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of presents is a pip deck, or a pip card. And then the next one would not be a pip. And it would be so deep and heart-wrenching that you're like, oh my God. Like, you have to have these pips to offset the ones that are not pips, if that makes any sense. And that's how I've looked at this deck forever. And many of the other ones I have they're deep. And they're like, oh, damn. And so you have to have that pip as a breathing room in between the non-pips. And that's the way I see this deck. And I love it. I love the images. My kids were like, oh my God, have you never seen this movie? I'm like, no. So, we all sat together and watched it after I had already bonded with this deck. So I think that made a huge difference because there was no preconceived notions about what this deck should be. And I love it. I fell in love with it. I still use it a lot. Every Halloween it comes out. Next, I don't know what orders the rest of them I think are in. But the next one was the Disney villains. Because I was like, oh my God, I fell so hard. And these are my two favorite colors, just dark green and dark purple. Love it. Love the dark green here. Love the purple inside. Love the backs. I love this deck. It was highly anticipated. It has the exact same cardstock, exact same shuffle. That was me. Purple, beautiful purple backs. I got this deck, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait. I love the Disney. I've seen all these Disney movies. I love that he's the sun card from Moana, the bad guy. It's awesome. And as soon as I got this, I'm like, what is happening? Like, it literally just laid there. And I'm like, no. I have not connected with this deck at all. I've tried many times. Maybe since it's been a few months, I can try it again. Not connected with it at all. And this is the one deck I just knew for a fact I was going to connect with, and I didn't. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, I know all these cartoons so well that I don't know if it's any preconceived notions or not. It just kind of laid there. And I'm like, what? I'm trying to find the Magician. He's the whole reason I bought this deck. I love her as a Hierophant. Love it. I mean, there are some, yeah, this is the whole reason I bought this deck, this Magician from the Princess Frog. Love it. But I'm like, why? It just kind of laid there. And I know this is one of the few decks here recently, because I've had this well over a year. Like, maybe a year and a half, 2 years at this point, when this came out. Because I literally got it. I got this on pre-order. I was so anxious to get it. And just now, people are just now starting to be like, oh, this deck is amazing. And I'm like, this is the one deck. I'm like, no. So that's weird. The rest of them, I don't know what order I got them in. I don't think. Next one I have is the Alice in Wonderland Tarot. Never watched really Alice. Never watched Alice in Wonderland. Not really. This is the exclusive edition at Barnes & Noble. It came with its own little bag, and that's backwards. This is the only one I have that has its own bag because I got the rest of them on Amazon. But this one came from Barnes & Noble, the physical location. It has the same exact card stock as every other Inside Edition deck I've showed you. It has the same exact shuffle. Exactly. These are the backs. And again, because I had not really seen Alice in Wonderland, and this is a partial pip deck, I had the same reaction I did to the Nightmare Before Christmas. I fell instantly in love with it. It's a very hard hitter for me. If I want the truth slapped across my face, this is a deck I'm going to pick up and use. Because as cute as she is, this deck is kind of a B. That's what endears the deck to me, though. Because it's like, oh, we're not some sweet little deck. And if you really think about it, because I know enough about Alice in Wonderland. I've seen, you know, the different versions of it. I love this Chariot. It's a Chariot card that it doesn't depict, you know, just happy-go-lucky road that you're going down and traveling down. It actually shows she's in trouble. And she's being carried away. And I got this deck the same year that I think I was in the Chariot year. And I literally felt like my feet had got caught up in the reins. And I was being dragged through the year. Hitting every bump, every rock, every dirt clod known to man on the way. And that's how this card makes me feel also. Like, she's trapped in the bottle. And if she wants to drown, she can get out. But she's trying to survive. And the Chariot's just carrying her where it will. And I just think that it's just like the runaway carriage. And that is part of what endeared this deck to me. I'm like, she's deep. She's harsh. And I think, again, the partial pips, the parts that are pippy, have to be pippy for the harshness that you're going to hear. Because it's a no-holds-barred deck, to me. And I love it for that. I love a deck that will be honest and speak the truth and be like, you're screwing up. You need to straighten your act up right now. And the Alice in Wonderland does that for me. And again, I saw the pattern here. This is where I really started to see the pattern of the less I know about it, the more I connect. And I'm like, wait a minute. So then I got Hocus Pocus Tarot. And I actually have not, beautiful purple. Beautiful purple. Beautiful purple. Beautiful purple. Shuffles the same, has the same exact cardstock as the rest of them. They're all the same. I love Hocus Pocus. I've seen this movie a million times. I went out of my way to, this is my favorite card in here, the High Priestess. Even though she's singing to the children, I'm like, you know, that's a little weird, but I love this deck. And I know a lot about it. So this is kind of that love this world card. It's one of my favorites also. When they reconnect at the end. Beautiful. The artwork is stunning. And of course, it's based on the first movie, not the second one that just came out last year. But this is one of those exceptions that I know quite a bit about it. But the deck, again, to me, reads like the Nightmare Before Christmas, where you need those partial pips in between everything else to kind of soften the blow. This one isn't as harsh as my Alice. I would say the harshest deck I have is the Alice in Wonderland Tarot. And it could be just at the time I got it and the messages I was getting, I needed to hear them badly. So that's cool. So that is my Hocus Pocus Tarot. Love it. That's one of the exceptions to the rules I have. The next deck I have is the Garbage Pail Tarot. And honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, Inside Editions, there's snot on the back. I love it. I got this, and I really haven't used it. I used it the first week I got it. I haven't really used it since. Sorry, I needed a drink. I started choking. Because it's the same cardstock. Shuffle's amazing. Because I got this strictly for nostalgic purposes, because I grew up in the 70s and 80s as a kid when the Garbage Pail Kids were a thing. I was right in the middle of it, and I loved it. This is the one exception deck to the pip roll, because it's not a pip deck. It's all scenes in every card. This is the one and only Inside Edition deck that I know that's out there that is, other than the new Buffy the Vampire Slayer Tarot, that is not a pip deck. Plus, oh, there's stickiness there. There's cards stuck there. Why? I barely use this card, so I don't know why I would have something on it. All the suits are correctly named also. It's the only deck I have, Inside Edition deck I have, where the suits remain the same. And I love it. And I didn't really get this as a tarot deck. I got it just for nostalgia purposes, because I'm like, I have to get the Garbage Pail Kids. Next, Horror Tarot. I just got this year. Actually, oh, I should have waited for the other one. I haven't really used it because I just got it not that long ago. It's got this bloody back, same cardstock, same everything. It is freaking beautiful, and I cannot wait. I'm waiting for Halloween, I'm sure. But because we're in springtime, I got a ways to go, but I already love it. It, other than the tiny, tiny words down there, look at that freaking Emperor. He's following me, y'all. Follow me hard. But I love it. I love this Horror Tarot. And I got this super cheap. It was like $12 on Amazon. Some random site was selling it. I'm like, it's the real deal. Yeah. And so it was cheap. The next one, the last one I got in 2022, Stranger Things. Yeah, the box is always trying to fall out. These are the backs. Shuffles the same as the others. I think this one's actually a little thicker than the others. I know nothing about Stranger Things. I know there's an alien world that opens up, I think. I've tried to watch this show many, many times. I've watched the first episode like 10 times. I cannot get into it. But the deck, I fell in love with instantly. It's very straight and to the point. It's not harsh. It's straight and to the point, but it's very in the now. And it's probably the only deck that makes me feel that way, where it's a very... we're going to give you the straight facts at this precise moment. 10 minutes from now, you could do the same reading and it would come up different, because this deck is in that exact moment. It's very in the moment, this deck, and I love it for that. Last deck. Just got it. It's the Fallout Tarot. This inspired me to buy the game Fallout 4, because this deck is based on Fallout 4. If you see here, Fallout 4. I haven't really played it much. I'm still not sure if I want to play the game, but it was like $10 at my local vintage stock video game store. But I love this deck already. It's got the same cardstock. Beautiful. Here's the backs, and it looks like it's old too. I love that. The Stranger Things also was like $12 at Christmas time. It was on sale at some random site. It was like $12. This one was $19. I bought it recently in the last few weeks. because it's been on my list for a long time. Like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get it. Forget it. I keep wanting it. I'm just going to get it. And I love it. The Stranger Things Tarot, I thought was going to be my deck that I could do, like, tarot spreads where I could go between worlds or travel to other dimensions or travel through time. And it's not. It's a very, in the now, in the present moment deck. The Fallout Tarot, however, has taken up the slack for that feeling of being out of time or in another time or in another place or in another dimension. And I love it for that. Love it. Love it so hard for that. So this is that deck that I know I can use for interdimensional travel or time travel even. And I think it's cool for that. I do have the game. Like I said, I'm still learning to kind of do some of the controls and stuff on it. Because I haven't played video games in like over a decade. But this is all my Inside Edition decks. I'm never getting rid of any of them. Even the Villains Tarot that I know is just for nostalgia purposes at this point. Because I've never connected with it. But yeah, that's all my decks. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate to comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And y'all have a good night. Bye.